Hello guys and welcome to Vlogging Project. My name is Tony, your favorite YouTuber. Now the difference between me and the other YouTubers is the flashy animations, excellent 4K quality. You're not gonna get that on my channel, but what you're gonna get is extremely valuable information about which phone is better, the Xperia 5 or the Xperia 1. Due to my sheer experience with phones, guys, I had over 800 phones in my life. I'm running also the Vlogging Spectrum scoring system where I've tested about 100 Android phones. You can check it out in the link in the description down below. It's, well, free, so why not? So today we're gonna talk about which phone is better, the Xperia 5 or the Xperia 1. And in terms of, timing, both phones are due to an upgrade very soon. The Xperia 5 Plus is going to be out very soon, as well as the new Xperia 1 second generation. But the thing is, both of them are going to be super expensive, as both of those were when they were new, at about £700. Now, about half a year down the line, you can pick up on eBay both of those for about £300, guys, which is amazing value for money for what these phones offer. I've got the comprehensive reviews on my channel of both of those phones, as well as the proper speaker test, and I'm gonna leave links to everything in the description down below. But in today's video, we're gonna focus on the differences, and hopefully I'm gonna help you out to decide which phone is better for you. So there are exactly three main differences between both of those phones. The rest is absolutely the same. So first up, we're gonna have a look at the size of those phones, guys. Essentially, the Xperia 5 is the compact version of the Xperia 1. I've got no idea why Sony scrapped that moniker, but they did pretty much. And yeah, the Xperia 5 is way more pocketable, guys. It is exactly as tall as any other phone out there, but it's very narrow, which makes it excellent, feeling in the hand and very pocketable. The Xperia 1 is as big as the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, which makes it one of the biggest phones on the market right now. But it's a little bit, narrower as well, but that doesn't really matter because it's absolutely huge, guys, and it's definitely not a one-hand device. So that's the main difference pretty much. Xperia 5, very nice and pocketable. Xperia 1, a little bit too big. They're not heavy, they're light devices because the batteries are small inside, and the recharge times of both of those phones is over 2 hours, which is pretty much the slowest of any flagship out there. But hey ho, what can we do? The battery life, 3100 versus 3300 on the Xperia 1, and the difference is actually big because of the screen, guys. On the Xperia 1, I'm getting anywhere between 5 and 6 hours of screen on time. That's about it. You can't get any more than that, which is a little bit short of your expectations. Where on the Xperia 5, because of the 1080p screen, you get between 6 and 9 hours of screen on time, guys, which is crazy considering the battery is so small. But due to the optimization, since I don't know what Sony did, but the battery life is actually better than you expect. So that's the second difference. Kind of a big difference in the battery life, depending on your usage, of course. Let's have a look at my screenshots for both devices over here. Okay guys, so let's compare the battery life of both of those phones. I've got the real-time shortcuts over here on both devices. You can see what is the difference, guys. 5 hours versus almost 6 hours of the Xperia 5. You can check this out here, over 6 hours versus just 6 hours. Over here, check this out, 6.5, or is it 5.5? Yeah, 5.5 hours versus 5 hours. Almost 7 hours versus almost 6 hours. Over here, 9 hours 20 minutes, guys. Crazy, versus only just 5 hours. Over here, 8 hours versus 6, 6 hours versus 5. Over here, 5 hours 5 minutes, 8 hours 2 minutes, 7 hours 3 minutes, 7 hours 3 minutes again, 5 hours 39 minutes, 5.5, 7.5, almost 8 hours, 8.5 hours over here, 8 hours, 6.5, 7, So yeah, pretty much that is the difference, guys. And the main difference you should consider is the screen size, guys. On the Xperia 5 we've got just a 6.1 inch 1080p AMOLED screen. On the Xperia 1 we've got a proper 4K HDR, full-blown excellent screen, probably one of the best and definitely the best I have ever tested, guys. The screen, what's the difference? Both screens are okay for day-to-day usage, but the screen on the Xperia 5 is, okay, this phone is, 21:9 ratio. I like this aspect ratio. Yeah, the screen is tall. Yeah, I get that. And when you start up the screen of the Xperia 1, you're like, man, that screen is a killer. That's the main difference. I mean, your reaction is like, whoa, that screen, oh man. And when you play 8K content or 4K content over YouTube, you're like, man, I can't really believe my eyes. When the Xperia 5, you're like, okay, looks okay. So that's the main difference, guys. In terms of gaming, that's where it gets interesting. There is actually a very negligible difference in terms of gaming, guys. And the Xperia 1 actually runs Call of Duty, PUBG, this and that in full resolution without any frame drops, which is mind-blowing pretty much. I don't know what kind of trickery is Sony using. I guess they're not rendering the full resolution or something like that, but it looks amazing. And it runs amazing on the same time because, on many phones, you're struggling in 4K, well, 2K. For example, the Pixel 4 XL, when you start up Call of Duty and when you put everything to max, you see that it's not that smooth, guys. The Xperia 1 with a higher resolution screen and with the same chipset is actually smoother. So I don't know what they've done, but yeah, that puts a little bit of more strain on the graphics department and the phone heats up a little bit more, the Xperia 1 than the Xperia 5. The Xperia 5 runs cool all the time. And pretty much that's it, guys, in terms of the screens, and everything else is the same. There's a very little difference in terms of the speakers. The Xperia 5 is just a little bit louder, but the Xperia 1 is just a little bit higher quality, so very, very negligible difference pretty much. They're not the best speakers, but they're actually getting there. They're actually usable, and I like both of those speakers, guys. And pretty much that's it in terms of storage, in terms of RAM, in terms of chipset, in terms of everything else. The software is absolutely the same, guys. So considering both of those phones cost about £300 in the moment, it's actually up to you whether you like the smaller device with better battery life, or you want to go for this absolutely killer screen, guys. That's pretty much the main argument, but have something else in mind. If you're watching quite a lot of YouTube videos, most of the content is 16:9 and from 6.1 and 6.4 inches. If you watch 16:9 content, you're going back to actually 5 and 5.2 inches, guys, which is a little bit on the small side for YouTube. And if you want to stretch it, you lose quite a lot of the content. So although the screens are amazing for watching, a lot of YouTube, I would rather go for the Xperia 1. And that's my my personal choice because of the absolutely amazing screen, guys. But again, if you rely a little bit more on the battery life, go for the Xperia 5. And lastly, the fingerprint readers on both phones are absolutely terrible. When you switch off your screen, the first 5 seconds, they just don't work properly. And consider that they've been fixed with Android 10, but they have to disable Face Unlock for some reason. So I guess, there was some interference between Face Unlock and the fingerprint reader. That's why the fingerprint reader wasn't working properly with Android 9. And I don't know why they can't figure it out, but the fingerprint reader is definitely a step back from the Xperia XZ Premium, for example, which I happened to review recently. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Again, for 300 quid, absolutely amazing devices. And again, lastly, the cameras. I did a comprehensive camera review of the Xperia 5, which has the same camera setup as the Xperia 1. Make sure you check it out if you're interested. But in terms of cameras, they're still behind the competition. Unfortunately, one other area Sony should improve. The recharge times, they should improve as well. And the fingerprint reader under the glass. Where is it? It's 2020 already, guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching, and stay, I don't know, stay and watch some other of my videos. Yeah, see you later guys. Adios.